Here's a video update of the first finished Democritus tools. This is a series of 3 tools that I'm going to use to make Polyhedra model kits. Kits that people can assemble their own Polyhedra models. So this is a tetrahedron, which is probably the simplest model I can make, and they get much more complicated. So I want to make all the parts for a kit, and to do that I've started making these 3 tools. Now this tool has 2 swing arms with razor blade cutters. Pull the guard up and you can see the razor blade in there that will chop the parts. Now the tetrahedron, the reason I have this one set up is one of the more difficult parts to cut, because really steep angle there means there's a lot of blade contact area, so it's more pressure than if you were doing like a really shallow angle cut. And a really steep angle cut means a lot of the blade has to cut through. So I start off with a template like this of the part I want to cut, and print that out and take that down here, and I can use a straight edge on the blade to help line it up. So pressing the straight edge against the blade, you get a lot more angle on there, or length on there. And then I set the tools at the angle I want. And they lock down on this T-track, and for the really steep angles, I still have 3 bolts, but one of the bolts hangs off. So it's set up there. I've got air supply coming in. So air coming in. Now this is our foot cable. So this cable comes down, and there's a foot pedal, so the whole thing's operated by your foot. We've got power, and then an on-off switch and a USB port. The USB port is for programming the digital counter. So I haven't programmed the digital counter yet, but I built all the hardware for it to go in. Some of the parts, some of the models will have over 1,000 parts. So being able to set in 1,024 parts and have the machine keep track of that when you get there is gonna be really convenient to have. Whole pneumatic control circuit, pressure gauge, solenoid valve that diverts the airflow through the hoses in the back here to the cylinder, swing arm, blade comes down. So let's just go ahead and cut out some parts. Now the old way I used to do this was take one of the pieces and draw out a template, and then trace that on each individual strip of mat board, and then cut it through with a razor blade type cutter. Now this, all I have to do is put the part in, press it up against the backstop. I'm going to hold that down, hit the foot pedal, and there it is. 4 parts cut out. Tetrahedron has 12 parts, so if I did that 2 more times, that'd be 1 complete model. Some of the other models have over 1,000 parts, but being able to cut 4 that fast versus, if you can imagine, this would have been 8 lines traced out with pencil on here, and then 8 lined up carefully hand cut cuts. That would have taken a lot longer. I'd still be tracing the first strip in the time it took me to explain that, let alone the foot pedal cut. So anyway, there's the first tool. Tomorrow I start on the next 2 tools, which luckily don't have nearly as many moving parts and are not nearly as complicated as this one. But since this is the workhorse, I spent a lot of extra time on the details, the brass and polished aluminum, and LEDs. I mean, everything looks better with a few LEDs added. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.